breaking down the deals, data, and disruption shaping global markets. You're listening to The Daily Ledger with Dennis Sert.
Hey folks, it is Monday, January 12th, 2026. You're listening to The Daily Ledger Show, and I am your host, Dennis Sert. Great to be here with you today. Hope you had a great weekend last weekend. I had a great weekend. Got lots of sun, hung out, did some work, walked on the beach, hung out with some friends. It was overall great experience. Hopefully you're able to catch some sun as well. Okay, we got some good stories to talk about today. We're going to talk about Google says bye to California. Job seekers find a new source of income, training AI to do their old roles. And Instagram says there's been, quote, no breach despite password reset requests. Before we do that, let's jump into a few of our macroeconomic / trends / market indicators. So the Dow Jones is down this morning 0.25%. The NASDAQ is down 0.1%. The S&P 500 is down 0.1%. And Bitcoin is up 0.99%, now 1%, up at $91,757.87. Before we jump into our news, make sure to download Byte AI Market Analysis. Thanks so much if you already have downloaded it. It's basically an iOS app. It's a financial co-pilot that tells you when you should enter and exit the stock market for each of your favorite stocks in your portfolio. It does it based off of technical indicators like the Bollinger Bands, RSI curve, and MACD / signal curve, as well as news sentiment. At that time, it refreshes about every half hour, so it's a great day trading tool. Of course, it's not a financial advisor, neither am I, but and remember that past success does not guarantee future results. But I use it every day as a tool, and I enjoy it very much. So make sure you download that off the App Store at Byte AI Market Analysis. Let's jump into our first story. Google guys say bye to California. Sergey Brin is joining his Google co-founder Larry Page, who announced last week, by the way, that he was reducing ties to California, in reducing ties to the state where they built their fortunes. So this is just wild. Of course, it's not very unexpected. If you haven't been living under a rock, what's been going on is California has proposed a wealth tax as a new proposition, where if you're basically a billionaire, you get taxed on paper about 5%, but it's actually in reality much more, just based off of like voting rights and just being a heavy shareholder in big companies. It's often in reality up to like 50-60% in some cases, which is of course extremely bad for not just these billionaires, but also the economy as a whole, because of course the companies also get hit pretty hard. Yeah, it's pretty bad, but let's get into the details of the story. So, 45 LLCs, I think I got this exact quote from the TechCrunch analogous article. 45 LLCs associated with Page have recently become inactive or moved out of the state, and a trust associated with Page bought a $71.9 million mansion in Miami this week, according to New York Times. Of course, New York Times kind of, echoes that. I think they call it an entity here. In the 10 days before Christmas, an entity connected to Mr. Brin 52. So ominous. It's kind of like the final reckoning. Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible, like the entity. Just a note on the New York Times. But so I guess terminated or moved 15 California LLCs that oversee some of his business interests and investments out of the state, according to documents seen by the New York Times. 7 of his companies, including those that appear to manage one of Mr. Brin's super yachts. See, they're talking about Mr. Brin's super yachts because they're trying to like slightly that they're trying to put on this like egalitarian lens or sort of lead you in the thought process of, oh, he's trying to save his super yachts. But in reality, what's actually happening is what's going on in this picture here that I have up, which is that you have this wealth tax that kind of essentially puts a huge weight on thriving businesses, which kind of uphold the economy of California and really the US and let's face it, the world really. Like when we're talking about Google, DoorDash, etc., Apple, Nvidia, Facebook, right? Meta. And yeah, and you see all these like tech startups and next gen founders who are like kind of going to Texas in this like figure here in this diagram. And it says here next Apple, Google, Facebook, Nvidia start elsewhere, creating hundreds of thousands of high-paying jobs elsewhere. Yeah, future hubs or elsewhere, probably Texas. Yeah, no cash for billions in taxes equals liquidity crisis, stops growth, forces sale. The innovation tax taxes paper gains, not cash profits. Yeah, this is really bad. Apparently there's this Republican or no, I'm sorry, Democrat um, House of Representatives member who basically represents kind of the Silicon Valley area. His name's Ro Khanna, and he's been making some rounds in X. Apparently, he supports this wealth fund, and big guys in that area are very much unfriendly towards him, and I believe they're correct in that. Let me see. I got a Wall Street Journal article. I thought I had set up for that, but yeah, no, it's. Oh, I have it right here. Let me get that into the view. Yeah. So it says here, it's a weird time to be a Democrat in Silicon Valley. So I'm only covering this because this is important to understand the picture. Of course, it is delving into politics a little bit, but we're gonna have to make that leap here for a second. Democratic Representative Ro Khanna's congressional district includes swaths of Silicon Valley. It says here in this Wall Street Journal article that tech CEOs like Y Combinator CEO Gary Tan is amongst tech executives voicing unhappiness with Democratic Representative Ro Khanna. And it goes on, it keeps talking about prominent sort of technology leaders, if you will, who are kind of against this. Yeah, it's kind of wild because the tech leaders used to sort of be on the left, and now it's kind of trending in the opposite direction, right? We remember the Salesforce CEO Mark Benioff, who kind of at the latter half of last year suggested that Trump should send the National Guard to San Francisco to help with public safety ahead of Salesforce's big Dreamforce conference, and he got a lot of backlash against that. And so you can see the tech leaders are really kind of, in my opinion, kind of going to the right, and so that's just kind of a commentary on what's happening. Yeah, so that's kind of wild. One more thing on that. So the DoorDash CTO says, I love California, born and raised there, but stupid wealth tax proposals like this make it irresponsible for me to not plan to move out of the state. This Class B thing itself could wipe me out. Being founder led is a big part of what makes DoorDash special. I will fight to keep it that way. Hats off. Yeah, sorry to see you go, Andy. But understand. And I don't blame you at all. This is a pretty bad situation. Yeah. Okay. Why don't we move on? Job seekers find a new source of income, training AI to do their old roles. Buzzy AI startup Mercor employs tens of thousands of white collar contractors and gigs open to anyone with expertise in their own field. So this is kind of funny. So this is the new gig economy. So instead of driving for Uber or delivering Postmates, A new wave of workers is signing up to school AI. These white collar contractors review and critique the output of the large language models that power chatbots and other AI tools. This is kind of nice because, as you guys know, I'm kind of an accelerationist when it comes to this stuff, right? The genie's already out of the bottle, rip off the band aid kind of thing that I've been saying. And so it's like, I would just do this for fun, to be honest. Because again, the wave is coming. There's nothing we can do. Let's continue reading. A dermatologist can make as much as $250 an hour helping a healthcare partner develop its quote decision support tools. Poets who quote enhance AI's understanding of poetic nature and literacy nuance and emotional expression can earn as much as $150 an hour. Yeah, there are a lot of jobs like this on like Indeed and Glassdoor, and it's been like that for a long time. Like, this article is kind of late. It's like almost like 10 months, a year. It's been there. Let's read this. Williams is now about 6 months into various projects that have involved watching video clips and writing out captions for everything that's happening in them and rating the quality of videos generated by the prompts. She has mixed feelings about the work. Yeah, well, you gotta do what you gotta do. Let's read this. The 61-year-old now spends 20 to 30 hours a week critiquing AI's attempts at writing news articles. He finds the work challenging and says it's had the pleasant side effect of improving his own writing. Yeah, I've seen this with me just being a power user of AI for, I guess, like, this is the 4th year, just literally since October 2022. Yeah, like, I had a conversation about this with someone in 2024, but it's like I've become smarter after the release of AI. It's just, I don't know what it is. Like, I have more just like general knowledge about things, just with how easy it is to access knowledge. Like, it was easy, quote unquote, before with Google, but like with Google, you have to know the search terms, right? So if you're doing like a 2006 era, like, just as a random example, Google search or Yahoo search or whatever, it's like you have to know the key terms or the keywords that you need. You can't just write in English language like, oh, this is exactly what I want as like a paragraph. And now you can. So it's obviously, and so it's like, I know so much more than I did before, and my rate of learning is like exponential. I don't know if it's mirrored, but it's like exponential. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I mean, and I'm just gonna come out and say it. It's like any big life decision, right, that I have that's like really huge. Like, let's say buying a house or something along those lines, right? I could give more examples. Um, it's like, I mean, I don't like, why would I limit like my own brain compute in such a career slash life changing decision, right? Um, why wouldn't I put that into ChatGPT Pro, have it reason for 20 minutes after I put in all the screenshots and everything I need, and now I know exactly what I need to do, right? So I'm sort of making an argument for, you can use sort of the infinite wisdom of AI to better your life as well, right? And I would actually encourage you to do the same. Instagram says there's been no breach despite password resets. Instagram says that although some users received suspicious looking password reset requests, it has not been breached. So there's been this, I guess, like, incident last week. I think it was on Friday that I guess some users received some like password request emails. And so Instagram came out on X and said, we fixed an issue that let an external party request password reset emails for some people. There was no breach of our systems, and your Instagram accounts are secure. You can ignore those emails. Sorry for any confusion. Well, first of all, was there anyone fired? That's what I'd like to know. There probably should be firings. That's one. And two, what's kind of funny is that Instagram posted this rather on Threads than on Threads. They posted it on X. So, and that's actually what the top comment here kind of refers to. I'm glad you shared this on X because no one would see it on Threads. Yeah, damn right. I mean, that's correct. So at least they had the wherewithal. It's like the serious stuff happens on X, and then Blue Sky, Threads. No one cares about that. No, nobody. Okay, and then we already talked about this. Okay. I think we're going to leave it there for today. Hope you make lots of money out there in the stock market and minimize any loss that you may have. Make sure to use Byte AI market analysis off the App Store in order to further that goal. And I will see you tomorrow. Peace, folks.